Hello students, I hope you all are safe and healthy there. So let us start today's class. Coming to the continuation of Yoni Vyapat. So today we are going to start Mahayoni. Mahayoni Vyapat, it's also called as Mahati Yoni Vyapat. This Yoni Vyapat is mentioned by almost all the acharyas, Charaka, Sushruta, Vagbhatas. So the quotation according to Charaka goes like this. Quotation according to Charaka goes like this. विषमं दुःखाशय्यायां मैथुनात् कूपितो अनिलः गर्भाशयश्च योन्याश्च मुखं विष्ठम्भयेत् स्त्रियः असंवृतमुखी सार्ति रुक्षफेना आस्रवाहिनी. Yes, असंवृतमुखी सार्ति रुक्षफेनास्रववाहिनी मांसोत्सन्ना महायोनिः पर्वावंशना शूलिनी. This is according to Charaka and according to Vagbhata. Only 2 lines quotation is mentioned. Vivruta ati mahayonihi. Vivruta ati mahayonihi. Chatusrishvapi chadhyasu sarvalingo shrutir bhavet. And according to Vagbhatas, दुष्टे विष्ठम्भये योन्यास्यां गर्भकोष्ठं च मारुतः कुरुते विवृतां स्रास्तां वातिकीमिवं दुःखिताम् उत्सन्नमांसं तमाहुर्महायोनि महारुजम्. So coming to the Charaka's version, Charaka says that Vishamam Dukhashayyayam Maithunam Kupito Anilaha. So the Nidana of Mahayoni is Vishamam Dukhashayyam Maithunam. So whenever the couple does the coitus in abnormal, Vishama is the abnormal, in abnormal and uneven or troublesome positions, then what happens? Their Vayu is getting aggravated. Then what did the Vayu does is, Vayu is getting aggravated because of the Vishamam Dukhashayan Maithuna. It causes firmness and dilatation of the orifices of the uterus and vagina both. This condition, the menstrual blood is dry and frothy. There is pain during menstruation. The condition having muscular protuberance in the yoni associated with the pain in the joints and groin region is known as Mahayoni. Chakrapani has given commentator here. Chakrapani says that the meaning of the Vishthambayanti, here they have mentioned the Garbhashayascha Yonischa Mukham Vishthambaye Striya. There will be Vishtambana of the Mukha of Garbhashaya and the Yoni. So what do you mean by Vishtambana? The Vishthambayet iti Vistarayet. This is given by the Chakrapani commentator. He says Vishthambayet iti Vistarayet. The meaning of Vishtambana is nothing but Vistarana. Vistarana is nothing but the dilatation. So here there will be dilatation of the orifices, that is the mukha of the Garbhashaya and the Yoni. And further, the meaning of Mamsa Utsanna says that Mamsa Utsanneti Utsanna Mamsa, that is the muscle protuberance will be seen in the Yoni. And in the second line, the Acharya has mentioned Asamvritamukhi Sarthi Ruksha Fena Asravahini. There will be how the characteristics of menstrual blood is mentioned here. The menstrual blood is dry, that is Ruksha, and Fenina, that is with the froth. And there is pain also. Sa arti. Arti means the pain. So there will be pain also at the time of menstrual discharge. So here the 3 qualities of the menstrual blood is given, that is dysmenorrhea with dry menstrual blood and it is frothy menstrual blood. So these 3 are the characteristics of the menstrual blood, that is menstrual blood is dry, frothy, and there is pain during the menstruation. And this condition also having the muscular protuberance in the yoni, Mamsa Utsanna Mahayonihi. Then along with that there are pains in the other regions like Parva Vankshana Shulini, that is it is associated with the pains in the parva, that is the small joints, and in the Vankshana is the groin region. So these are the lakshanas of Mahayoni according to Charaka. So the Nidana is Vishama Dukhashayan Maithuna. Whenever the Maithuna is done in the Vishama and Dukhashayan, then what happens? The dosha involvement is the Vayu. Kupito Anilaha. Vayu is getting aggravated, and what it does is there will be Vishthambayana or Vistarata of the Mukhas of Garbhashaya and Yoni in the Stree. Along with that, some Asamvrita Mukhi Sarthi. Samvrita is a constricted. Asamvrita is opposite of the constriction. So, and there will be pain in and Ruksha Fenila Asra or the Sravana of the menstrual blood will be there. Along with that, Mamsa Utsanna Mahayoni, there will be Mamsa Utsanata in the yoni, or the muscular protuberances are seen in the yoni along with the pains in the Parva and Vankshana joints and the groin region. So this is called as Mahayoni according to Charaka. Whereas according to Sushruta, he has given one main symptom. He says that Vivruta Ati Mahayonihi. Vivruta Ati Mahayonihi. The main lakshana of Mahayoni mentioned by Sushruta is Ati Vivruta. Ati Vivruta is excessively dilatation. Yoni is here, the yoni is excessively dilated. Vivruta Ati Mahayoni. Then in the second line, he says that Chatusrishvapi Chadhyasu Sarvalingo Shuddhir Bhavet. That is, as this is considered as Sannipataja Yoni Vyabhat according to Sushruta. So here you will find all the symptoms of all the three doshas. Sarvalinga Shrutir, the commentator, Dalhan commentator, he gives commentary that from the word Sarvalinga, what you have to consider. Sarvalinga Shruti iti Roksha Todadika Vatalinga Shrutayaha Joshadika Pittalinga Shrutayaha Sneha Kandavadika Shleshmalinga Shrutayaha. That is, here the lakshanas of all the three doshas are seen. That is the symptoms of all the three doshas. With the Vayu, you will find the dryness, Ruksha Toda, dryness and pricking pain are seen due to Vata. Chusha Adhika, that is the heat, etc. and burning sensation are seen due to the Pitta. And Sneha Kando Adhika, that is unctuousness and itching are seen due to the Kapha dosha. So here Sushruta considered Mahayoni or Mahati Yoni is caused by the Sannipataja or all the three doshas. So you will find the Sarvalinga or the symptoms of all the three doshas are seen along with the main characteristic feature where he has mentioned it as Ati Vivruta Yoni. Okay, that is the excessively dilated Yoni. Here the Yoni becomes excessively dilated. And coming to the Vagbhatas, both the Vagbhatas have mentioned that the aggravated Vayu producing stiffness of the vaginal orifices and the uterus causes their dilatation, displacement and other features. So Vagbhatas have considered it is in the Vatiki Yoni Vyapad, and different pains of the Vatiki Yoni Vyapad are also seen, and here also the Mamsa Usana, that is the muscular protuberances are also seen, and along with the pain, and this condition is called as Mahayoni. Madhav Nidana, Bhav Prakash and Yoga Ratnakara, they have followed the Sushruta. So coming to the comments, Sushruta etc. have mentioned only the excessively dilatation or widening of the yoni, which probably refers to the perineal tear, especially the third degree perineal tear. Perineal, whenever the tear of the perineal occurs there, and that time the yoni becomes excessively dilated, which is mentioned by the Sushruta as Ati Vivruta Yoni. Charaka and Vagbhatas have included presence of muscular protuberances along with the menstrual abnormality along with the excessively dilatation, so which indicates towards something, a condition called as uterine prolapse, especially of third degree prolapse, or also called as procedentia, where you will find the presence of muscular protuberance along with the menstrual abnormality as well as the excessively dilatation. All these features which are mentioned by Charaka and Vagbhatas can be seen or can be correlated with the uterine prolapse of the third degree or the procedentia. Though in the prolapse of the vaginal walls there is a widening of the orifice as well as the muscular protuberances, yet the menstrual abnormalities are absent. The menstrual abnormalities are also usually absent in the first and second degree uterine prolapse. Thus, it can be correlated better with the third degree uterine prolapse or the procedentia. And the chronic prolapse, the cervix becomes slightly firm or stiff, which has been mentioned by the Charaka. So if the prolapse is of chronic in nature, means since long years if the woman is having prolapse, then in that case the yoni also becomes stiff. okay, because of the dryness. So this can better be correlated with the third degree uterine prolapse or the precedentia, whereas the the lakshana ati vivrita can be correlated with the third degree or the perineal tears, you can say third degree perineal tears. Coming to the next Yoni Vyapat, it is called the Vandhya Yoni Vyapat, which is mentioned only by the Sushruta. Vandhya Yoni Vyapat. So Sushruta, coming to its quotation, Vandhyanam nashtartavam vidya chatasrishvapi chadhyasu bhavant anila vedana. Sushruta writes that in Vandhya Yoni the artava is destroyed. Nashtartava. So the meaning of nashtartava means the artava which was there before is not present now. That means artava got nashta. Anartha means absence, but nashta means the artha which was present before is not seen afterwards. So avandhyam nashtartavam vidyam chatasrishvapi chadhyasu bhavant anila vedana. So here in the Sushruta writes that in the Vandhya Yoni the artava is destroyed. Dalhana has given the difference between the Shandi and Vandhya Yoni Vyapat is the presence, is the absence and presence of breast respectively. So Vandhya Shandeyoho Sasthana Asthanireva Visheshatah is mentioned by the Dalhana. Vandhyam Nashtartavam Vidyam Chatasrishvapi Chadhyasu. So here how to differentiate between the Shandi and Vandhya is the only difference between both is the absent and the presence of breast respectively. So in the Shandi Yoni Vyapat breasts are absent, in the Vandhya Yoni Vyapat breasts are present. And it has presence of other Vatiki types of pain as it is Vataja. So you will find the Anila Vedanas with different Vataja pains are also seen in this condition. Madhav Nidana Yoga Ratnakara have followed Sushruta, whereas Bhava Prakasha has mentioned absence of Artava in place of its destruction. Bhava Prakasha has used the word Nirartava in place of Nashtartava. Nirartava means absence of Artava, whereas Nashtartava means the Artava got destroyed or the destruction of Artava. Vandhyam Nirartavam Gneyam Pathamevam Yoga Ratnakara. Then coming to the comments, some of the recent authors interpreting Artava as ovum considered Vandhya as an ovulatory menstrual cycle. Ovum is a microscopic structure. Its presence during those days was imagined due to its role in conception. Here, instead of infertility or clinical features of an ovulatory cycle, amenorrhea has been described, though the destruction of Artava denotes that the Artava was present before, which finished afterwards. Thus, it should be considered as a secondary amenorrhea. With the word Nashta Artava, it's better to consider the secondary amenorrhea because the Artava was present before and later it got destroyed or later it got finished. So, with the word Nashta Artava, it is denoting the secondary amenorrhea, not the primary amenorrhea. However, Dalhana has differentiated Vandhya and Shandi with the presence or absence of breast respectively. Shandi is a congenital disorder. The word Nirartava without menstruation used in Bhava Prakasha hints towards the primary amenorrhea. If the destruction of Artava is considered as a destruction of Artava of the female fetus, then this can be correlated with the primary amenorrhea. Charaka and Vagbhata, while describing Bija Amsha Dushti, that is the chromosomal or genetic abnormalities, have mentioned that if the part of Bija responsible for the development of uterus is defective, then the born child would be Vandhya. So the bija which is responsible for the formation of garbha in the female fetus, if that part of the bija is defective, then there will be problem in the child and the child can become Svandhya. Chakrapani has included abnormalities of the part of the bija responsible for the development of Artava and Garbhashaya both. Chakrapani says not only the bija which is responsible for the formation of Garbhashaya, but the bija which is responsible for the formation of Artava also, when both these bijas are the part of the bija responsible for the formation of Artava and Garbhashaya both got the abnormalities, then the woman becomes Vandhya. If the description of Charaka and Sushruta are considered together, then Vandhya Yoni Vyapad would appear to be identical to the primary amenorrhea due to congenital absence or marked abnormalities of uterus as well as the ovaries. However, on the basis of only Charaka's description, it is nearby the correlation with the primary amenorrhea. So with the Charaka's version, you can correlate with it with the primary amenorrhea. Sorry, not with Charaka, with the Sushruta's version, you can correlate this condition with the primary amenorrhea. So Vandhya can be correlated with the primary amenorrhea due to congenital absence or the marked abnormalities of the uterus. Coming to the next yoni vyapat, it is a Vipluta yoni vyapat. Vipluta yoni vyapat is again mentioned only by the Sushruta. Viplutayam nitya vedanam chatusrishvapi chadhyasu bhavant anila vedana. So here Vipluta yoni vyapat is characterized with only one main lakshana, that is a nitya vedana or the constant pain in the vagina, along with the bhavant anila vedana, that is other pains of the vata like doda veda etc. can also be seen here. And with the word the Madhav Nidana Madhukosha commentary, they have mentioned the commentary like this: Viplutam vata vedanaya viplutatvad nitya vedanam atikupito anilaiva vata vate niti, that is due to the overflooding. Viplutam is overflooding, viplutatvat due to the overflooding or vipluta with the pain of vata, it is termed as vipluta yoni vyapat. Constant pain is due to the excessive vitiation of vayu. So here coming to the comments, due to very short description, it is very difficult to equate this vipluta with any of the gynecological disorders known today. However, it can be considered as the vaginal neuralgia or the vaginal pains or the parasacral neuralgia, especially of the psychogenic origin, because here the nidana is not mentioned. So we can correlate it with the psychological pain or the psychological vaginal neuralgia. Coming to the next yoni vyapat, it is the Prasramsini yoni vyapat. Prasramsini yoni vyapat is again only mentioned by the Sushruta. Coming to its quotations, Prasramsini syandate tu shobhita duprasushcha cha chatusrishvapi chadhyasu pittalingo shrutir bhavet. That is, Sushruta says that in this condition, any irritation, syandate sravati shobhita संचालिता दुप्रसुश्चा मीन्स दुखेन प्रसूयते सा एवं विधा योनि दुप्रसुष्यते दुप्रजायिनी इति पठन्ति दुष्टीभूतत्व आपत्यमार्गेणेन व्याख्यानान्यन्ते चतुस्रश्वापि पित्तलिङ्गश्रयः उषजुषादिकवेदना is mentioned by the Dalhan commentator. So here from the word shobhana sanchalana, so that is the irritation. Sushruta says that in this condition, any irritation or shobhita can cause excessive vaginal discharges. That is a syandate. Syandate means sravati, means excessive vaginal discharges or its displacement. And there will be duprasushcha. Duprasushcha means dukhena prajayate, that is the pain, labor pain is also difficult, or labor is also difficult due to the abnormalities of the passage. Because of the abnormality of the passage, labor is also difficult labor or dystocia will be there. And other features of pitta visheshan, pitta lingoshraya, that is other features of pitta visheshan is also seen, that is the burning sensation and heat, daha and usha tusha etc. are also present. Madhav Nidana Bhav Prakasha Yoga Ratnakar have followed Sushruta. In the Madhukosh commentary, it is explained that in this condition, after compression or the massage, the yoni is prolapsed. So they say that the yoni is prolapsed in this condition. The condition is characterized with the prolapse of the reproductive organs. The word yoni refers to the vaginal canal and the uterus. Thus, the prolapse of the vaginal wall and the uterus both can be considered. Though normally prolapse of anterior and posterior vaginal walls is seen only when the woman causes irritation or straining. However, this generally does not cause obstruction or the difficulty in labor. First and second degree uterine prolapse also is not seen only after straining or pressure over the lower abdomen. Non-dilatation of the cervix due to excessive congestion caused by compression of The presenting part over the upper part of the cervix due to its prolapse is one of the important complication of labor. Yoni Brahmsha, that is prolapse of cervix during the Muda Garbha or the obstructed labor, is a sign of incurability or the asadhyatvam. Considering about facts, Prasrimsini Yoni Vyapat appears to be a description of second degree uterine prolapse. So this Prasrimsini Yoni Vyapat can be considered with the second degree of uterine prolapse, because here dystocia is also seen, difficulty in labor is also seen. Coming to the next Yoni Vyapat, it is called as Atyananda Yoni Vyapat. Atyananda or Atyananda Yoni Vyapat, it is again mentioned by the Sushruta. Atyananda na santosham gramya dharmena gachati chatasrishvapi chadhyasu shleshmalingo shrutirbhavet. Sushruta says that the woman suffering from Atyananda Yoni Vyapat does not get satisfied with the coitus, and other features of kapha such as the sneha kandu adi, noctuousness, and the kandu, that is itching, are also present. In Madhav Nidana Bhav Prakasha Yoga Ratnakar, identical opinion has been expressed. So due to very short description, it is very difficult to establish a correlation with any specific disease known today. However, it can be a description of nymphomania. Nymphomania, especially due to the neurosis, psychosis, or menopause, as in all these conditions, the ladies have the irresistible or incessant urge which is never or rarely satisfied. Nymphomania means the excessive sexual desire by a woman for the sex, and she is never satisfied. So this is called as the nymphomania. So the Atyananda Yoni Vyapat can be correlated with the nymphomania due to neurosis, psychosis, or the menopause or any other condition. Okay, next Yoni Vyapat is Falini ya Andini Yoni Vyapat. Falini or Andini Yoni Vyapat, which is again mentioned only by the Sushruta. So coming to the quotation goes like this. अतिकाया ग्रहिताय तरुण्यः फलिनी भवेत् चतुस्रश्वापि चाद्यासु सर्वलिंग श्रुतिर्भवेत्. So here Atikaya, the Nidana of the Falini or Andini Yoni Vyapat is mentioned as Atikaya Grahitaya Tarunyaha Falini Bhavet. Atikaya, from the word Atikaya, the commentator, Dalhan commentator has given the commentary, says that Atikaya Bruhat Sadhanena Narastena Grahitaya Falini Sangnya. Afalini ityante pathanti tatra atikaya grahitaya ya taruni pitalinga shrudayah sneha kandavadikaha सा आफलिनी आप्रजा इति व्याख्या सर्वलिंगश्रुति इति रोक्षतोदादिका वातलिंगश्रुतायाः जोषादिका पित्तलिंगश्रुतायाः स्नेहकंडवादिका श्लेष्मलिंगश्रुतयाः. So the Dalhan commentator Sushruta says that when a young woman, that is Taruni, has coitus with a man of Atikaya means a man having big size penis, then she suffers from the Falini Yoni Vyapat. Dalhana gives another name of it. He says that a Falini instead of Falini. A Falini means without fruit, because as the woman remains infertile in this condition, so he says that it is better to call this Yoni Vyapat as A Falini instead of Falini Yoni Vyapat, because here there will not be any children's. Features of all the three doshas are seen. As Sarvalinga Shrutir means all the three doshas symptoms are seen, that is dryness and pricking pain due to vata, burning sensation and heat due to pitta, and sneha kandu, unctuousness and itching due to kapha are also present. Madhav Nidana Bhav Prakasha Yoga Ratnakara, describing above features, termed it as Andini. So Madhav Nidana Bhav Prakasha Yoga Ratnakara, they have mentioned the word Andini in place of Falini of the Sushruta. They says it is as Andini Yoni Vyapat. In explanation offered in Madhukosha commentary and Bhav Prakasha, it is mentioned that the initial narrow yoni vaginal canal protrudes just like an anda or the egg. Andavat iti patantara. Andavat. Andali Andavat Nisruta Yoni is mentioned in Madhukosha. Andini Andavat Nisruta Yoni means just like the egg, there will be the mass protruding out from the yoni. Initial narrow yoni will be there, and from the yoni the mass just like the egg or the anda is coming out. So that's why it is called as Andini Yoni Vyapat, which is mentioned by Madhav Nidana, Bhav Prakasha and Yoga Ratnakara. So normally in the disproportion in the size of male and female organs, the female is likely to suffer from the perineal and vaginal tears, resulting into bleeding and pain. The clinical features not mentioned in the classics, however, if the man is careful, the tears may not take place. With the constant practice of coitus by a man of big penis, with women of narrow vaginal canal, excessive laxity of anterior and posterior vaginal walls may take place, which may protrude outside the introitus in a shape of just like a phala or the fruit or the anda or the egg. Usually, that's why it is called as Andini and Falini. Usually, above mentioned coital abnormality does not cause the uterine prolapse, or even if the uterine prolapse is accepted, it will not resemble the fruit or the egg due to the presence of cervix with its os. Hence, Falini Yoni Vyapat appear to be a description of the prolapse of the vaginal wall, especially the cystocele and the rectocele. Or the bladder prolapse is called as cystocele, and the posterior wall prolapse is called as rectocele, where the rectum comes out, and the anterior wall prolapse is called as the anterior vaginal wall prolapse, where the bladder comes out, is called as cystocele. Rectocele is the posterior vaginal wall prolapse where the rectum comes out, is called as a rectocele. So this Andini and Falini Yoni Vyapat can be correlated with the cystocele or rectocele. So this complete the lakshanas of all the Yoni Vyapadas, 20 Yoni Vyapadas. In the next class we will start the Chikitsa of the Yoni Vyapat. Thank you.